Hi, everyone. Welcome to our What's New and Coming Up with Lipedema that we do every Friday at this time. I'm here with my two friends and colleagues. I'm Leslyn Keith, and I'm with the Lipedema Project, and here with Catherine Seo. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Leslyn. Hi,
And
Siobhan.
there's
Hi,
Siobhan,
everybody.
too. And so
Hello.
we're missing our colleague Gail here today, but we're gonna try to plug along without her and talk about what's new and coming up with lipedema. There's always a lot to talk about. The first thing I wanted to mention, though, is that going on right now is the Lymphatic Summit with Learn, and Catherine was just presenting, just like 45 minutes, I don't know, an hour ago. She was just presenting about lipedema, and it was kind of historic because this is the first time they've included lipedema in the discussion. Can you share a little bit about that experience, Catherine?
Oh my God. I actually acknowledge that this is their fourth year talking about lymphatic disorders, and they talk about all of the complications of lymphatic disorders, from cellulitis to malformations. And there we were, lipedema. We had Dr. Suba, who's written a lot. I mean, his research is one of the top research in lipedema, and me. I was like, and you, because one of the things that I did in the presentation, you know, that we have been working on this research project literally for years. And Leslyn and I and Siobhan has come in because she's the one who's going to be doing a whole lot of the, I want to say, putting the meat on the skeleton. So weird came to my mind. But anyway, she's going to help us put it all together. So part of that has been videos of many of our lipedema ladies over years, like 8 years of webinars, seminars, online courses, events, symposiums, and all of that. So I chose to share about the patient experience with the patient's voices. That's the name of the project, Voices of Lipedema. And it's you. It's like, we've been saying it all along that the important voice is your voice. And that's what we have been doing. And anyway, it was definitely a great thing, just to have lipedema. Like I said to Dr. Roxon, I said it was so great to have lipedema be at the table. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm speechless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Never speechless.
You really gave a great presentation. And speaking of voices, any of you that are listening and with us live right now, be sure and put down that you're here, where you're from. If you have any questions or comments, share them. Go ahead and post that. We always love to know that you're out there. We know a lot of people listen to and watch this on the replay, not available at this time that we're here every Friday at, let's see, it's 4:30 p.m. Eastern, I believe.
That's 1:30 your time.
1:30 on Pacific time for me, and I think 2:30 Mountain time for
Mm-hmm.
Siobhan. Yeah. So okay, great to see you guys are all here, Maura and Rachel, or is it Raquel? I'm not sure. And we have someone from London, and we have Carlene and Loretta. Thank you for posting. Doreen from Denver, okay, right near Siobhan, Paige,
Mm-hmm.
and Irene from New Zealand, who is one of our regulars. Thank you so much for being here. And so that was just some excitement that happened just today. I had to mention that. So we have a couple other fun things coming up. We have a webinar series that we're doing. I just spoke yesterday as the first webinar in the series, but we have several others coming up.
Wait, let me say,
Yes.
she was brilliant. She was fabulous. Listen, it was such a good webinar. And if you didn't catch it, I'll put the link. Yeah, I'll put the link to the replay in the comments, because I want everybody to see it, because what she talked about was the um, really the difference and the link between lipedema, lymphedema, and obesity. And they are so kissing cousins. And Leslyn did a wonderful clinical overview. There'll be more at the event, but this was really
Well, that
great.
is the thing is that, it was a short presentation, only 30 minutes or so. And this is going to, all the topics I think that are in our webinar series are going to be, we're going to go into in much more in depth at our October event, which we're going to give you some more information about. But remembering too that you're part of the conversation. So it's not just us sharing the information. We want you to be part of the conversation. So other webinars that are coming up, the next one is going to be with our own Gail Straker, and she is going to be speaking on Monday, October 3rd. So just this coming Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. And her topic is Gentle Days and Nights with Lipedema. You can do this. So she's going to be talking about how you can improve your quality of life, how to apply what you've learned. There'll be plenty of time for question and answers. So that's the one that's coming up.
Yeah, and the way that she discussed that, what it is that it's some practical information. So you have a lot of information. How do you actually implement that? Which I'm really looking forward to because I have tons of information, but it's like, okay, how do I take it one at a time so I can apply it to myself and actually get somewhere? Because when you're in the depths of self-education, which a lot of us are, it's really hard because you can experience this analysis paralysis, and Gail's going to help us like, okay, how do we actually take some steps, implement these things, and at least get started? Because getting started and continuing is the hardest part. Like, how do you do things? So I'm looking forward to that one just for myself personally.
Yeah, you are so right, Siobhan. And then the third webinar is going to be with Catherine Seo. That's going to be on the following Monday, October 10th at 6 p.m. Eastern. And Catherine her title is Miracles Can Happen, Living with Lipedema. Are you ready for yours? Catherine, you want to give a little synopsis on what you're going to be talking about on October 10th?
I haven't told anyone this yet, but I'm going to say that my life did a 180-degree pivot numerous times. And October 10th of 1987 was the first day that I started to do a low carbohydrate food plan in Overeaters Anonymous, or what I knew was a low carbohydrate plan. Now I would say it's higher carb than I thought. But anyway, so I thought that would be a good day to talk about miracles, because if anyone told me that I would maintain and sustain a low carbohydrate way of eating for 35 years, that's older than Siobhan. At 35 years. I mean, I can remember sitting, I was at a retreat center, and I remember sitting on the bed in my room as it was dawning on me that this was going to be a change in my life that was significant. And it was like losing my best friend. And little by little, I mean, I'm Italian, as most of you who know me know, because I talk about it. And I grew up on pasta and bread and pizza and, all these foods. And I'm a foodie. I mean, I'm not, you know, though now I don't, but boy, did I love carbs back then. And I thought, so I'm talking about a little bit more about what I'm going to talk about. I told these guys I was talked out and I wasn't going to talk very much, but I am. So this thing about, I mean, that was the first thing that attracted me to Leslyn's research. I remember being at NIH where she was presenting her research, and I looked at it and I went, I know that low carb works. I know it works. So maybe this is something to look at. And, that rest is history. But 35 years ago, there was this tragedy. Oh my God. I cannot tell you what a tragedy it felt like. I actually, at that point, there was very little known about low carb. I thought I was going to lose my fingernails and all of my hair. And well, yeah, you think that carbs are an essential nutrient. When you find out they aren't, you're sure they're wrong because carbs have got to be an essential nutrient. So that's what I'm going to be talking about on October 10th, because that's my anniversary.
Excellent. I definitely you want to show up for that one. Make sure you sign up for that and the whole series. And the fourth one in the series is we're really going to be talking a lot about our October event, the Heart to Heart event, and it's pretty much going to be just a lot of Q&A and discussion. Catherine is going to be there along with any of us that can be there, any and all of us. And
yeah, it will be all four of us. Everybody
yes,
said they could make it.
That's going to be on Thursday, October
13th.
No, did we change it? I thought we changed it to the 16th.
No, the 13th. No, we changed there's going to be another one on the 16th.
Oh, okay. So Thursday, October 13th, and that is actually the date that I'm giving two presentations, one virtually in Russia and one in live in New Orleans. So I won't be there for the webinar 4, but I'll be there for a different thing we're doing on Sunday the 16th. But so you can see that there's, this whole webinar series is definitely something worth looking into. I think, Catherine, you posted a link to that so people can register for it. Some great comments here coming up, and I wanted to just acknowledge a couple that I saw. There's a link for the replays. Someone, and now I'm not finding it, someone that wanted to know if there's been any stem cell research associated with lipedema, and there's been a ton. So if you just Google stem cell and lipedema, you will see there's a lot of research in that area. So, and I've definitely discussed it a little bit on my my flash briefings.
Yeah, that was Rachel, aka the flight attendant. She said,
yes. Any studies on stem cell therapy? Now, stem cell therapy, that is a little bit different, actually doing therapy with stem cells, but they are researching adipose stem cells a lot with lipedema because they're seeing that there might be something different going on there. So maybe that stem cell therapy will be something that's on the horizon. So that's good. And then Juanetta, I think I used to think my brain needed carbs. Yeah, didn't we all? We thought that glucose was essential for the brain. Oh boy, it works so much better on ketones. Yeah, thank you for your comment.
I know, so much better. So let me ask you, because Leslyn, I've never asked you this question, and I want to ask you and Siobhan. Did you have some, oh my God, what am I going to do without carbs? Or am I the only one?
Yeah. Well, I think that Siobhan is kind of like me. Food is just not that important to us. I mean,
so here's the thing.
It tastes good, and I look forward to certain foods, but when I gave up certain things, it was kind of like, yeah, okay, oh well. It did not mean a lot to me. How about you, Siobhan?
Yeah, so here's the thing. I had an issue before I went carnivore, actually, where I thought people were lying about enjoying food. Like they would be like, this is so good. And I never got that experience from eating. Like the reason I was obese before keto was because I was hungry all the time. And even when I went keto, it was like, sure, it tastes good. It's fine. But I still wasn't getting that experience. And it wasn't until I went carnivore that I was like, this is what everyone was talking about. And I don't know what that is, if it's a brain inflammation thing, was messing with dopamine from eating or whatever, put whatever speculation you want. But so when I went keto, I didn't care about giving up carbs because it was pretty much the same across the board. It did nothing for me. And if I could feel better eating different things that I thought tasted as good, I really didn't care that much. Now, if it went the other way around at this point, where it's like, okay, you can no longer eat carnivore, you can't have meat at all, I would be devastated in the way that you're talking about. Because now I do understand what people have been talking about like, I'm a foodie, I love food, I have this visceral emotional experience with food. Now I know what that means. So now I can experience that grief. Hopefully I never have to, though.
So there was a very,
I think,
sorry.
oops. I was just going to say, I think it's cultural. I think because in Italy, food is the main commodity, really. When I went to Italy, it's like I had a wonderful time. I loved it, loved it, loved it. But I ate, at that point, I was plant-based. So I had big salads, ensalada, I had amazing Italian cheeses. I stayed like at that point, low carb. So I think it's a very cultural thing. So it's curious to me. I think we should do a webinar on it.
Yeah, and like the thing is, my dad is very much that way too. For me, I think it might be a chemical thing, because I've had experiences of like eating keto food that was omnivore after being on carnivore, and it was immediately off. I lost the ability to experience that level of pleasure with food. So I think it's something messed up in my brain. But I have written a side blog post about this, and other people did comment that they had that same exact experience of being able to have that really physical enjoyment of food when they went keto or when they went carnivore, but not before. So I don't know, maybe that's a research avenue someone can go into, but.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
There was an interesting study, an animal study, that I think it was with goats. And they gave the goat feed that they took away one vital micronutrient was removed from the feed. I think it was a mineral. I can't even remember what it was, but they took that out of the feed. And so these goats ate and ate and ate and could not stop eating because they were trying to get that essential nutrient. They didn't know that's what they were trying to do, but they were not getting. So it was a physiological reason that they kept on eating. And I think that happened to us in general on the Western diet, that we were deprived of essential nutrients when we were told to eat this very high carbohydrate full of foods that were not essential, and we were not getting our essential nutrients. And so you found no pleasure in it, and you ate and ate and ate. Whereas now with the way we eat, it's pleasurable, and we can stop eating because we're getting all our essential nutrients. So I think that, yes, it could be cultural, but I think there's definitely a physiological reason for it too.
Yeah, I think there is a physiological reason. Part of it could be nutrient related. Part of it, I suspect, is also inflammatory and related to insulin resistance and hyperinsulinemia and all that, because that'll have some heavy impacts on satiety and enjoyment. But actually, I can comment further, but I think I agree with Catherine. We should just have a webinar on it because it's a really interesting topic.
Yeah, I think we should. I'm going to say, calling all foodies, come to the conversation. Wait, Francine Posa. Francine, I was just looking at your videos last night, and I was saying I miss her. I would have to call her. What's going on with the LTA, the Lymphedema Treatment Act? It said came in late. LTA fighting in Washington. Are they voting on it?
I think we're getting really
Does
close.
anybody know?
I think that we're getting really close.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
So does everybody know what that is? The Lymphedema Treatment Act is it's a bill that would say that Medicare would consider lymphedema compression garments specifically, but I think it might generalize to products in general that are needed to treat lymphedema. Are medically necessary and should be covered by Medicare. And what Medicare covers, pretty much then the other insurances also to cover as well. So Medicare really establishes kind of what's going to be done with coverage.
Oh, it sounds like it passed. It must have passed another. Well, Francine says went through another hoop on the floor, I believe. So it must have come up for another vote. It's packed in with, as always, with whatever they do for bills. They're all packed in like several things.
Yeah.
But this is big, and Heather's been working on it for like 10 or 12 years.
Over a decade. Over a decade. She started when her child was born with a lymphatic disorder, and I think that child is like ready to graduate high school at this point. So
yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we have one other big thing to talk about in the couple minutes that we have left here, because we are already past our 20-minute mark. But we don't want to forget to at least mention that our big October event that's happening October 21, 22, and 23 virtually. And remember, we were talking about that it's a conversation. Yes, we're going to have people and experts presenting, but it's going to be built as everybody is going to interact. If you so choose, you're going to have a chance to talk and interact with people. Siobhan, I think you're going to be leading a breakout room.
Yeah, I'll be leading a keto Q&A. So if anyone is interested in ketogenic diets or has started a ketogenic diet and has some questions, I do not have a guarantee I can answer all of them. I can never give that guarantee, but I'll be happy to discuss them, talk about resources, and have a really great discussion and learn from everybody else at the same time, because again, it's going to be everybody participating together and sharing what they've learned and their experience and their questions, and that way everybody can benefit and learn and hopefully have a lot of fun as well.
Yep.
And I think you're also going to be featuring, Catherine, the pioneers in lipedema. So the women that were out there in the front lines advocating and talking about lipedema. And it's not that long ago. I mean, maybe a dozen years ago is when these women started doing it. And it's, the whole landscape has changed since then. So you're going to be honoring them at this event.
There were a handful of women, pretty much everyone who had lipedema, who tried to find answers and couldn't find them. So started Facebook groups, started to interact. The people in the UK were the first ones to do what they call the big survey, where they just asked, it's like we've been doing the same thing again and again and again in different formats. What do you feel? What goes on? Help us to define it so that we can get medically recognized. And so we're recognizing the pioneers, and they're wonderful, 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 wonderful.
That's great. I think it's going to be a wonderful event. You have the link there. Be sure and register. Join us there. Be part of the conversation. It was, as usual, wonderful to be with you all this Friday again, and we will be back again next Friday. Thanks for being with us. See you all next time.